So the Dreame Aqua10 Ultra Roller has really impressed me. It has saved me a ton of time, back-breaking labor, tons of money in the long term. In this video, I'm gonna give you a detailed review why I think this thing pays for itself and why I love it so much. Let's get right into the review. Now first, let me explain my current problem. In this house, I have 3 pets, 1 dog and 2 cats, and they always bring in a ton of dirt from outside. And then there's just a lot of people who walk in with their dirty shoes. It is very annoying and I have to pretty much clean the floors every day. Now before this, I would have to bend down, clean the mop, and I have to get my hands really dirty. It was a very laborious process. I really hated touching and getting my hands all wet and touching the detergents and whatnot. So it was just a pain in the butt to have to clean my floors every day. Now this is like the Tesla of automated cleaning. It is very sophisticated. It has a ton of sensors. It is extremely smart, and I'm going to show you all the features a little bit later. But this kind of reminds me about the modern invention of, let's say, a dishwasher or a laundromat. Before, back in the day, you would have to manually wash your dishes or launder your own clothes, but now that's all automated by niche machines. On this channel, I reviewed many different smart RoboVacs and vacuums. In fact, I've actually reviewed other Dreame products. For example, I still use their handheld vacuum. I think it's a great competitor to the Dyson. I've had other RoboVacs and they were kind of really cumbersome to use. I would have to bend over and empty the dustbin. It was just so annoying to do it daily, so I never ended up using them. And then they would get tripped and fall on obstacles and whatnot. Now this solution is totally automated. You don't have to empty the water. You don't have to empty the dustbin. It's all done by this huge base machine over here. And of course, all the sophisticated sensors make it very easy. And another thing about some of those RoboVacs that I reviewed in the past is that they did have a mop functionality, but it was awful. It was pretty much pointless. What you would do is have a canister and it would slowly leak water onto the floor. Sometimes it was too wet, you couldn't control it. And worst of all, it would just drag a dirty mop as it was cleaning the floor. So it was pretty much spreading the dirt all over the floor. Whereas the Dreame Aqua10 Ultra Roller cleans as it goes along. You can program it, for example, by room or a certain square meters, it will automatically clean the mop. So you're not spreading dirt all over the floors. And what's the point of that? And my favorite thing about this is that you can choose how moist or how wet the floor is. So you can set it slightly dry and it's not gonna leave a lot of streaks on the floor. It does a very amazing job and I was extremely impressed with how well it cleaned my floor. And honestly, I don't think I could have done a better job. It is such a long, laborious process to cover this into all the square footage in this room. This one does it automatically. It is such a lifesaver. So let's talk about what really sets the Dreame Aqua10 Ultra Roller apart. This thing is all about keeping that roller always fresh while it cleans. No spreading dirt from one room into another. First, it actually self-cleans as it goes. The Aqua Roll mopping system constantly pushes fresh water into the roller during cleaning, and it flushes the dirty water into a waste compartment inside the robot. It also has fluff roll technology. This lifts the mop fibers so they make better contact with the floor. It scrubs deeper into dirt instead of just gliding over the top. The roller mop extending feature, along with the extending side reach arm, pushes outward to hit those tricky edges. It grabs the dust hiding right along the walls and baseboards so nothing sneaks by on the edges. Every corner gets mopped and vacuumed. When the cleaning run is finished and it returns to the dock, the thermal hub system uses up to 100 degrees Celsius hot water to soak and deep clean the roller, killing bacteria. Then the dock applies 70 degrees Celsius hot air to dry the roller, keeping it fresh and odor-free. At the same time, the dust bag is gently dried at around 50 degrees Celsius to prevent damp debris and musty smells. Now let's talk carpets and suction power together, because this is where the Aqua10 Ultra Roller really adapts. It has 30,000 pascals of Vormax suction, which is extremely powerful for dirt and large particles. When it detects carpet, the auto seal roller guard automatically closes, so the roller does not get your rugs wet. And with the HyperStream detangling dual brush design, hair is not a problem. We have a German Shepherd that sheds like crazy, and my old robot vacuum used to get jammed with hair constantly. This one just does not tangle. The brush stays clear without me having to mess with it. Obstacle avoidance is also state of the art. The new Stereo Edge Obstacle Avoidance uses 3D structured light to detect cables, toys, and furniture edges. And the OmniSight system version 2.0 adds smarter visual recognition. I do not have to prep the house anymore. I just press go and trust that it will not get stuck. Mobility is really impressive too. Their HexaLift 60 elevation setup includes the upgraded ProLeap system, the triple wheel Aggie lift chassis, and the triple up technology. Basically, it can climb over bumps and move between rooms with no stress. The all-in-one power dock is what makes this a true hands-free setup. It has a dual solution compartment, up to 100 days of hands-free dust emptying, and it even auto-dries the dust bag. Plus, the 70-degree hot air roller drying keeps everything fresh. And if you want to make things even easier, there is an optional auto refill and draining hookup kit. And of course, it has smart features like direct voice control, upgraded pet-friendly care, better carpet cleaning logic, and Matter protocol support for modern smart homes. Take a look at these before and after results. The mopping performance speaks for itself. You'll notice a significant difference in floor cleanliness. Moving on to the vacuuming capabilities, the results are just as impressive. Now, one of the coolest features about this RoboVac is the fact that it has 2 cameras. What's really crazy about this is that on the map, you can see your pets, you can see special obstacles, for example, a table, a bed, stuff like that. It recognizes landmarks within your own room, which is pretty amazing with the AI technology it has. Now, I know AI is a big buzzword, but it really does have some advanced AI technology or machine learning in more of a traditional sense. For example, all the lasers, the LiDAR, for example, it all really is a smart package in one. But what I really like about this is the 2 cameras allow me to do a surveillance of my pets. Sometimes I'm away from my house and I'm really worried about where they are. I always wanted this kind of robot that would patrol my home in the hallways and look for the pets so that I make sure that they're okay. And this is one of the killer features about this. It's almost kind of like a home security camera. So that is absolutely amazing. So let's talk about setting this up. It is extremely easy. The first thing you need to do is plug in the base station, and there's a plug in the back, and there's some cable management which makes it nice and tidy. So as you can see, the dustbin is pre-installed, but it's very easy to take it in, take it out. So you can see that, just very, very simple process. And then here, this is where you put your solution. One is going to be the pet odor solution, and then the other one is going to be the detergent. And this is totally optional, just makes your floor smell really nice and get rid of all the pet odors. So that's very easy to install and set up. Now on the top, this is where you fill your water. So you can simply open this up and you fill your water up inside here. Very, very quick. Plenty of capacity. And this is where you discard your old dirty water. I'm gonna show you some footage of how dirty the water gets. It just feels so satisfying to see how much dirt you've extracted from your floor. And trust me, it picks up a ton of dirt and it keeps the mop very clean as it goes through each room by room. The next thing you wanna do is quickly attach the ramp. No tools are required, you just slap it on there. And then you throw the RoboVac into the charger. And then you can simply turn it on, hold it for 3 seconds, and then connect it to the smartphone app. I have to say, I was absolutely blown away at how quiet the RoboVac was. Now, the first thing I wanted to do was map the entire surroundings, and I noticed how silent the motors are. It seems to have really nice rubber wheels, so when it rolls on the floor, it glides on the hardwood floor, it just sounds very smooth. And even when it's vacuuming, depending on the setting you choose, and of course, when it's mopping, it is very quiet. So this is the first time in a long time with a lot of RoboVacs where I don't mind running this while I'm concentrating on work, for example. Very, very quiet, very impressed so far by that. Another nice thing about this was that there was no leakage at all. And when it was mopping the floor, like I mentioned before, it was exactly how I wanted it to be. Not too wet, but not too dry. And it was doing a good job at cleaning the floor. One of the worst things I hated with some of the old RoboVacs is that it would just leak everywhere and it's kind of saturate your floor, maybe even damage it. So I was running this on vinyl and laminate floor, no issues. And best of all, the floor was immaculate. I couldn't believe how good of a job it did. There's various settings for the mop. For example, you can put a light pressure, heavy pressure. You can choose how wet it gets, how much it cleans. So many parameters to choose from, which can be a little bit overwhelming, but honestly, it did such a good job, way better than any human could. So what makes this vacuum and mop combination so special is, of course, the base station. Now you can program it to return to the base station as it's doing its job so that it can empty the dustbin or clean the mop in a very detailed way. But what's really cool about this is that as it mops, it self-cleans. So within itself, it's actually self-cleaning, and it uses hot water in order to disinfect and clean the mop. So that means that you're not gonna have all the dirt being spread all around, and one room isn't gonna contaminate another room. For example, in my case, my mudroom is extremely dirty. It has the cat litter, people's dirty shoes that come in. So I want to treat that room very differently as all the other rooms. So I would do a clean in that mudroom first and then return to the base station, do a full deep clean again, and then return to other rooms, for example. So you might be wondering, are there any cons with this device? Well, not really. It really does deliver on its promise of keeping your floors automated and keeping the whole experience very seamless. The only thing that I wish that Dreame would do is kind of show a little bit of a warning, or like a sticker warning, for example, indicating that it is you cannot flip the device upside down when there's water inside. Now, that might sound very obvious, but for example, let's say it gets stuck and you want to quickly triage it, look below it. You have to actually dock it, drain the water, and then you can service it. So I would kind of wish they would put a little bit of a warning there. So to wrap this up, what do I think about the Dreame Aqua 10 Ultra Roller? Well, I have to say this is definitely worth every penny. I did the math, and to pay someone to come into my place, which is already a cumbersome task to have to coordinate and manage people coming in and out the house, it turns out that after 10 visits, paying someone around 40 bucks an hour for a 3-hour clean of all the floors, this thing pays itself within 10 visits. So I think it's a no-brainer. It's a lot more convenient to have a dedicated niche robot that is the one that is purposed on cleaning the floors. Now, if only we had other robots that could clean the surfaces of my kitchen and whatnot, that would be amazing, but maybe in the future. I think what really impressed me with this RoboVac mop vacuum combination was just how seamless the whole experience is. Being able to just sit on my couch and say, hey, start cleaning, and not be disturbed by the loud noise, not having to get up and use a mop or clear all the stuff around. Its smart obstacle avoidance was quite amazing. Just the experience of having automated clean floors has really improved my life, especially with 3 pets and a ton of people that come in with dirty shoes all the time. So definitely check it out. I'll leave a link in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.